Hey everyone, Steve here, and I thought I would just do a pseudo episode of Cribs Gunpla Edition, and just give you guys a quick tour of the hobby room and a few of the projects I'm working on. So let's get started. Lots to show you guys. I'm very lucky, and I have an entire bedroom that I can devote to gunpla-ing, modeling, and right here we've got my paints. Pretty much got every Tamiya color there is, almost. I don't have all of the flats, but I've got most of the Tamiya, even though I'm kind of moving away from using it, just because they don't really have the color selection that I want for gunpla. I mean, it's all like military colors, all these like desert yellows and stuff, which are nice colors, and I love the paint. It's just not what I need. Model Masters is great because they have a huge variety of colors. I could usually find a color. I mean, look at all these blues. That's just a fraction of what they have out there. So I could usually find a color that's pretty close to what I'm looking for, and just mix up other colors with it if I need to. And I'm moving towards using mostly lacquers. I've been slowly increasing my supply of Mr. Color paints, and also increasing my supply of enamels. I've actually starting to really like using enamels. Of course, we've got my Alclads, AK Interactive stuff, which I have yet to actually use. Some of their paints, some Citadel stuff, which I don't think I'll be using anymore. What I used this for before was like weathering and stuff, but I think I'll be using the AK Interactive stuff or just straight enamels for that in the future, but who knows. Over here we've got all important fire extinguisher, ABC rating. My respirator, pretty cheap, 3M version 7502 with the P100 filters. I think all in all this ran me $15 shipped, so pretty good deal. Here we've got spray cans, a lot of top coats, some enamel paints, and lacquers as well. We've got Future in a little handy little bottle. Various gloss coats, surface primers. I'm going to be switching more towards using these kinds of primers, using my airbrush, just because they are cheaper and they go farther. So I've got those ones. I've got a whole bunch of Mr. Primer Surfacer, and I've got a bottle of the Alclad primer, so I'm going to use up that stuff because this is my last can of spray primer, and this stuff is not cheap. It's like $10 a bottle, or $10 a can, and doesn't go very far. And little eyedropper bottles made out of glass because I kept breaking the plastic ones I had. Pretty much all I use that for is alcohol. I've got all my thinners in these little bottles labeled so I know what they are. Got these little metal palette paint mixing things. A whole bunch of the little ones. Some thinners and top coats, alcohol. Little thing of pipettes. Got so many of these. I got a huge box of like 1,000 of them. Over here we've got some of the paints I was testing out for the Nemo. So what I'm going with is a mix of Angel Green and, oops, not that color. This one, this Flag Green. This is the color I used on my Perfect Grade Zaku. And that's that color, even though it's got some black dusting on it. But it's a almost perfect Zaku color. And I'm doing a mix, so it's going to be between these two for the Nemo. This is pretty close to the color of the plastic right here, but I just want to lighten it up a bit, so I'm going to get it somewhere in this range here. And parts for the Nemo right here. These are going to be done in Alclads. And you know, my spray booth, of course. It's been working perfectly, no problems there. You can see my little doodles on the side of here. Down here we've got my compressor. It's kind of dark down here. Basically I've got it hooked up to a little gallon storage tank. Pretty simple. It just allows the compressor to get a break every now and then. Again, 2 airbrushes. We've got the Velocity Rage, or in the Rage. So I haven't used the Rage in a long time, but a couple kits like these over here, I will be using the Rage for those. I ended up finding the Rickdom Shars colors for a pretty good deal. Didn't hesitate to grab this guy. And I also picked up the double fin funnel set through my middleman. Not a cheap exclusive, and it's just extra fin funnels and some water slides and some effect parts, but definitely worth it. So I also got the Perfect Grade RX78-2. This is the C3X Hobby 2007 exclusive, which is the Kune Okawara illustration image color version, which is, for short, it's the real color version. I was actually going to start this, or I was very tempted to start this, but I grabbed the Nemo instead, because I've got a few other projects I want to finish up to kind of clear my plate up before I started that, but I think that's going to be started very soon. Up here, this is just a work in progress shelf where I try to keep some of the kits I'm working on, or I want to start this kit, but I've never built an aircraft, so I don't know much about doing it. I don't think it'll be that difficult, but who knows. And some various other supplies. Here's where I keep my decals, stickers and stuff. Here's the Nemo all sanded and washed and prepped, so it's ready to go. Another kit I was working on but I never did a video on is the Master Grade ball. Over here we've got the inner frame, which I've kind of gone to town on the details. I'm also lighting every part of it, so I've got LEDs and all the thrusters or verniers. Got the cockpit lit up as well, and the gun will be lit. There's a little camera that goes up there. I've got a little LED in there that'll light that. I've got the front little headlight things lit as well. You see some little surface mount LEDs in there. And what I had done to do that was I dremeled out this back edge, if it focus, and I cut a little groove where I could run the wires, and I put some epoxy putty over that and kind of cleaned it up the best I could. It's not focusing. There. And just kind of cleaned that up the best I could and ran those wires out there. So that was pretty cool technique. I was painting some parts tonight, and oh man, I screwed up. So I painted these with a flat black, and I went through and detailed them with some of this enamel chrome over here, chrome silver, which is a very awesome color, but I should have gloss coated these parts. I knew I should have, but I wanted to save myself a lot of work because I would have had to airbrush them all, or airbrush all these parts, and I was just kind of lazy and wanted to speed this up. And the problem is trying to clean up a metallic isn't working. If I had gloss coated it, I think it would have cleaned up no problem, but it did not want to clean up. So I think I'm going to have to repaint a few of these parts and then gloss coat everything and then try again. Over here we have the Kotobukiya chain base. So I ended up buying 2 more. These are actually the knockoff versions from TT Hongley. I normally don't support bootleggers, but Kotobukiya has stopped manufacturing these, so you can't get them anymore. And HobbyLink Japan, after I made the purchase from them, no longer had any in stock. So, and I also needed chain base number 6 because it had came with these larger catapult platform things, which are large enough for master grades. The ones that came with these 2 were small ones for 1/44 scale kits, so I'm building this for master grade, so I needed kit number 6, and I didn't want to pay like $30 for aftermarket prices. And also I was really disappointed at how well these Kotobukiya things went together. I mean, they don't snap together easily, and you shake it wrong and it's just gonna all fall apart. So what I've done is I've gone through with a combination of epoxy putty, like this is all epoxied in, and bolts on all of these parts. So this thing is pretty sturdy, except for that, which isn't supposed to go together like that. I just kind of was playing around with it. Also, when I got this, I thought that the base plates could also be used as back plates, and that's how I kind of envisioned putting it together, but that wasn't the case. So you can see a gap there, but I've just used some epoxy and bolts to put this into place. These are the base plates I've put up here on this wall. And my plan is to probably make scratch build a little, like a command center, like tower thing up here with these little like walkways and stuff, something like that. I don't know. I'll also do LEDs on the runway, like little blinkers, and on these I'll do little bicolor LEDs, so it's gonna go like red for the top and yellow on the bottom, and then they'll both turn green. And using a decade counter, I can make a circuit that can do that. and I got 2 of those, which is a cool little effect. And I'll probably do like little spotlights up on top, around the edges, and I think I'm gonna use this for Zeta. Do like a Mark II, a Zeta, a double Zeta, possibly the Nemo, but probably the Hayaki Shiki. I don't have any. I have the Mark II version 2, but I haven't built it yet, so a long ways away from having this done. And I mean, I'm gonna paint it and scratch build a bunch of details and fill like all these little peg marks and stuff, and paint it, weather it up, put a lot of like oil stains and grime. So that should be a pretty fun project. It's going to take a while. So moving on, got my power supply. This video is getting really long, I'm sorry. We've got, just barely got this, the Tamiya handy drill, which is really a lifesaver. It saves your hand from having to use little pin vices. I've got my pegboard here where I've got all my tools. Stuff I have handy are clamps, 2 different kinds, masking tape, magnet wire and solder, some wire wrap, which I've kind of stopped using because it's so fragile. I've got my X-Acto jeweler's saw thingy, straight edges and hole cutters, pliers. I've got my electrical pliers, these little needle nose guys. I've kind of stopped using these. These are Academy Snip side cutters. They were really sharp when I got them, but they got dull really quick. Not sure where my other snippers are. These guys, X-Ron. These are pretty good. I like them. I like them enough not to spend like the $20 to get the Tamiya ones that everybody loves. We've got my cements, my liquid styrene, which is pieces of styrene melted into extra thin cement. Good for filling some gaps and stuff. We got my putty, Mr. Masking, Sol Neo. Stuff's kind of hard to work with, but it's good for some things. Cements, Mr. Mark Setter, which probably doesn't need to be here. So just painted the little cockpit, or the pilot figure for the master grade ball. Still need to add a little more detail to them. Various brushes. Really got to get rid of these. These are like cheap ones that suck. The ones I use mostly are these, which are good brushes for the most part. Computer. Here are my electrical stuff. We got my resistors, caps, LEDs, more caps, and various switches and other stuff. Dremel bits. Here we've just got like sanding sponges, polishing blocks. I'm kind of running out of these quickly. They don't last long, and I've been using them like sand kits when I shouldn't be. These are really just meant for polishing, and should be using just these polishing or these sanding sponges for that. A little shelf just for various supplies and stuff. And never showed you guys my turtles. These are the new 4-inch figures from the Nickelodeon cartoon that I applied a wash to, flat coated them, and did some dry brushing on them. Also painted the weapons and stuff. Used some alclads on the blades. One thing I should have done, the weapons are this really hard plastic that paint does not like to stick to. But in the automotive section, or the automotive stores in the paint section, they make a product called Adhesion Promoter, which is for like the vinyl or the hard vinyl plastic stuff that paint does not like to stick to, and you just spray that and it'll kind of melt into that kind of plastic. So I've got some of that. I should have used it on these guys, because the paint does not like to stick to their weapons. And I also added chains to like the nunchucks and some of the other weapons that these kits come with, or these figures come with. Oops. This one and stuff. We got my superhero Legos. Originally thought I would just get them all, and then Lego started pumping out these Lego kits, and my wallet cried mercy and gave in. So there are a few kits. Actually, I've kind of run out of space as well. I mean, I've got like this kit here, and I've got a couple other kits that I haven't built, because if I build them, I have no place to put them. Here we've got the fixed figuration Zeta Plus blue version. It's pretty sweet. Toy. I've got my diorama there. An older diorama that's not very good there. We've got all my... Actually, no. These are just kits that need paint or are just not painted that well. Or just mediocre. All my good stuff is in the other room behind glass. And I think that's about it. We've got the Evangelion Shogokin. I just barely got GN or GX17. Oops, Optimus. I haven't taken out the stand or all the accessories to put them on yet, but I will. Man, this video is getting really long. Here, I'm getting the GoPro attached to my helmet. I'm borrowing a GoPro from a friend because I'm going snowboarding tomorrow. At Tuckerman's again. Little backstory on Tuckerman's. It's basically the best like backcountry skiing east of the Mississippi in America. Yeah, if you want anything like Tuckerman's, like anywhere else, you have to go out west. Where every place out west is like Tuckerman's, but on the east of the West Coast, you want some real hardcore snowboarding. It's you have to hike up Mount Washington and do Tuckerman's. And I think that's about it. Got my dust mask for when I'm sanding parts. Oh yeah, actually there's more. All my Diorama Supplies here. Lots of them. More there. Here we've just got extra parts and pieces from various kits, and other tools and supplies and stuff. And I've kind of started a detailing kit where I've just got a bunch of like beads and metal option parts and stuff, chains and stuff that I can use for customizing kits. And oh yeah, so when I bought the Perfect Grade RX-78, which is over there, I kind of made myself sell some of my other master grades to kind of pay for it. So I've sold the GM Custom because this kit was made in 1999. It's super old. This is actually the RX-78-5. It's just in a this box because I don't have the original box for it. I also sold the Master Grade Fats and another Master Grade. So I sold 4 Master Grades and a real grade to kind of pay for that Perfect Grade. Just because I've got a huge backlog, and if I ever wanted to paint it all, it would take me years, seriously years, to paint it all. So I sold 5 kits so I can just focus on that one larger kit. And oh yeah, another cool thing I've got are these, is a pressure pot I've made, or a vacuum chamber here. I just used an aluminum pot, big piece of acrylic, and over here we've got a pressure pot. I've yet to use them. What I need is a vacuum pump, and I don't want to spend more than $80 on one, and I don't want to get a crappy one, so I've kind of been trolling eBay to try to get a good deal on a decent one. One that can pull down to at least 30 CFM, because you need at least 28 to degas ATV, silicone rubber, or resin and stuff. Actually, resin can degas at slightly lower CFM, but some of the lower end vacuum pumps can't pull down to that. So I need a decent one, and I don't want to pay too much for it. So I've been slowly looking for a great deal, and yeah, I think that's about it. Hopefully you guys stuck through this 30-minute video, and I guess I'll leave it at that. I'll probably post a video of boarding Tuckermans, but I know you guys probably don't care about that kind of thing. But I'll post it anyways, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.